Hello, this is Zeke777, and welcome to episode 49 of Simply Magic 2. We're picking up pretty much where we left off on the last episode. I haven't really even touched the runic altar back there yet. It's pretty much exactly as we left it. So let's go ahead and start working. So what I've got here, I've laid these out before. This is a pathway, is at least what the plan is. So what we're going to be doing for at least the first part here is kind of a bit of base cleanup. I have these pathways at least traced out, so let's actually, put some things there. So the method that I'm going to be using for this is going to be kind of like this right here. Actually, I'm going to switch the color. I think I'm gonna see what the blue is like when I do it kind of large scale, and we'll kind of go from there and see if we like that. We can always mess around with it. We can change the colors. We can honestly not even have it all the same color, just have it like little segments of one color, segments of another. We can kind of play it as we go, but this is going to be the basic layout of our pathways. So let's kind of build a little bit. Well, we are back, and I have to say, I kind of messed up. So I haven't really been able to record for quite a while. I haven't had much time to actually be able to do any of it, but I have had time to play. And conversely, I kind of got a little carried away. Yeah, so we did a little bit more than what was in that little clip there. So we actually got that clip to work. Replay mod being what it is. So we have our nice little area here. We have pathways all around here, and I did go and went with slabs here instead of it being just down a whole block, because when you're down a whole block, honestly, if I break this out here, it's a little too low, and I didn't really like that. So instead, I went with a half slab and kind of went throughout the whole base. I also ended up switching out my armor here just for living stuff, because I wanted to see how that compared, and mostly I wanted to see how the elytra worked. I kind of like it, so I might try this for a little while. It is kind of annoying because in water here, yeah, there's water here now. In water, if you try to jump, it ends up like putting you down a block first, and then you sit right at the level, which isn't the most useful. So it's kind of annoying, but it is really nice to be able to do flights. So let's go up here, and we can just kind of fly around and look at the base. So as you can see, I did do some stuff with this fountain here. I gave it a nice little plaza to have it be more of kind of a central area of the base. Went over here, and I have stairs and all this stuff going up here, and I think I need to come up with a gateway for this of some sort. I might just put a border with the, what is this, the venomous stone or whatever it's called, the green stone. So probably put that here and see how that looks, but for now it's just open. And let's go over here to our blood magic area. And I made a nice little, you can see I did put some water features in. I decided I really wanted to clean up the base and make it just in general look better. Instead of just being kind of grass and then a bunch of big buildings really far apart. That's one thing in the next pack I plan on doing, is having everything be a lot closer together. Just makes it feel more lived in, I guess. But I have this nice little river and lake, and I built a bridge. And got a little carried away. This is a chisel and bits thing here, because you can't actually make fences out of these. Yeah, made a nice little bridge. I still need to come up with a design for our campus directory, as well as I need to redo all of the chisels and bits on that, which is kind of why I was holding off on that. I wanted to do the paths, and I wanted the paths to be on there, which is why I kind of held off on that. So let's go over here to Blood Magic Land. Made a nice little river over here as well, and a nice bridge. Just a small little bridge, and then the river that goes down to that kind of pond down there. You can go away. Let's get you up. Go away. Oh, I forgot to hit force sync here. Let me type that. AM2 force sync. Really annoying. I did decide, I think I'm not going to go with a path down this way over to the Abyssalcraft area. I'm just going to kind of pretend the Abyssalcraft area doesn't exist, honestly. But let's see. I think that's pretty much the extent of the pathing that I did. I was quite fond of this plaza design. It's just very simple. I wanted to include more diorite in it. Just diorite, living rock, and the polished raw stone. And that's pretty much it for that. So I think what I'm going to do with this episode is kind of make it be kind of a finishing off base tour type episode. So I think we'll get started with that. Let's start off with the most important building. This is our main storeroom. If you've been watching this far, then you'd probably know that. Yeah, so in here we have the master storeroom. We have lots of storage doors all around here. With the main system, everything is kind of hooked up with corporea and blood magic. In fact, I'm gonna get a hole right here. If we hop down below here, you can see our blood magic line is just kind of going all line there. That was really weird. Elytra upgrade on this thing is kind of a little buggy. But yeah, we have all of these lines down here. In fact, let's get our little wand out here so we can actually see that node router. So this is all hooked up. We've got an input node here, I think. This is, oh, output routing node is here. I think the input is upstairs. And that's just hooked up all through Corporea and Blood Magic. So I've got everything synced through there with a bunch of essence conduits as well. And I think Corporea is just running along in these chests. So let's go back upstairs. Can I get out of here? Let's do this. Okay. So like I said, it's all hooked up. And this is just kind of my main input chest. I just throw anything in here that I want. I also have a magic hand mirror to be able to throw things in. For instance, cooked pork chops. Let's throw you in there, and they come right back. This is actually right upstairs here. And I'm kind of giving this as a tour for someone who maybe hasn't seen this before. But yeah, so that is my main hub for just throwing anything in. Let's see, arcane ashes, I don't need you. We'll just toss you in. Goes in there, goes into the hungry chest, which then goes to wherever it needs to go. I never bothered cleaning this out, so anything that doesn't meet any of my filtering criteria just kind of ends up in here. Eventually that might be a problem, but I'm not really too concerned about it, honestly. So I have my bulk storage is downstairs there, and then up here I have individual sorting chests, one for each router, one for each mod, I should say. Each routing node sorts to that. So for instance, I've got runestone and Eye of the Ancients, so anything from roots and embers goes into the embers chest. Then the other side here is random things, and it's pretty much just set up the same way. South gets a lava charm, which is random things. And we've got that going all around. A couple mods I had added later was Thaumcraft. That's not part of the original pack, but I just added that into the system as well. And I have both output nodes and input nodes. That way I can pull from here with automation, even though this isn't my main storage downstairs with blood magic, or with the just reading blood magic, down with the storage drawers. So that is kind of a nice overview of the main storeroom. This is where everything goes in and out. We've got the two master sparks are right here, master routing nodes, sorry. Spark is this guy, master spark. The two master nodes here control the two different lines. They're two isolated networks that just happen to be following next to each other. In here is my main lobby. Unfortunately, I never really made a plan for this room, so it just kind of got mostly left alone, but I do have a couple random things that I threw in here. Just things I didn't really want to devote an entire build to. For instance, my alchemy table, the purifier from Evilcraft, some more Evilcraft stuff here. Mostly just Evilcraft, actually, because that was for getting Ender pearls, sorry. And the transmutator. Never really bothered hooking this up to automation because I didn't use it often enough. I really just only use this for gravel to flint. I didn't get too far into Abyssalcraft, mostly because this version of Abyssalcraft, there's kind of more bugs and there's not as much content. So I definitely want to revisit that in a later version. In 1.12, I know there's a lot of changes that were made. I think they expanded on the ritual process and all that stuff. So definitely we'll be revisiting that in 1.12. But for 1.10, there's not a whole lot more I could do with it. I mean, there's a couple more dimensions and stuff I can get with that, but it really just gets me more armor. And here is my portal room. So I've got a waystone, which I ended up not actually using. I was hoping that this would basically give me an option of right-click on it, and then it would let me bring up a table or something of additional waystones that I have, but it's not really how it works. And I think it recommends I either have a 3-minute cooldown thing, or you can add a thing to add a button in here to teleport you, but that's kind of a little cheaty. Ars Magica Gateway, really only have this one set up going to the end portal, but it's there. Another portal, of course, and then Abyssal Portal. Now upstairs here, I was going to be putting in Luminizer Transport, but then I got Flight, and honestly it was faster just to run out the door and fly wherever I wanted anyway. Yeah. So that's pretty much... Oh, we still need to go upstairs here. So let's go upstairs. My elevators keep disconnecting. Another kind of buggy thing with this version is Ars Magica connections tend to drop out randomly, so elevator breaks. Always fun. Small little enchanting area before I got my big enchanter over there, but this was useful very early on for getting quite a lot of stuff. And then, of course, armor imbuement table from Ars Magica. I don't think I have enough levels on you. Yeah. Don't have any enchantments on the... Oh, I don't have any upgrades on this, just regular enchantments, same as what I threw on my other armor. Dragon head, dragon egg. Over here is my Ars Magica crafting altar. not a whole lot to be said about this, really. It's just each of these, I've got different spells I've made. Mage Lamp, Bolt, Firebolt. This one, Death Ray never worked. Rift I use. Rift is a good storage. Do I think I even have anything in here? Yeah. There's my Wizard Shock. I was looking for you. Yeah, so that's Ars Magica. I just set up a thing up here. I'd wanted it kind of close to my storage system. That way I'd be able to set up automation if I wanted. But I never really had any spells I wanted to automate. Really, my only spells I needed were my attack spells, a couple quality of life spells. I don't even know what spell this one is. Appropriate. Oh, right. Yeah, just kind of utility spells. I didn't have any real need of automating those. Yeah. Over here is our Britannia Mana Enchanter. It's very simple. These are hooked up through sparks to, if I go downstairs, let's drop down here. Got down here another pool, which is that reaching all the way from that one? I think it is reaching from this one. This is hooked up on a timer. Elytra being weird again. There we go. That's just hooked up on a timer, so it'll just occasionally rotate out, fill it up again. Otherwise, it'll be dumping it upstairs. So that's really useful. Like right now, it should be... Right now, it would be sending the mana upstairs because that's got a dominant spark. And then this would come back and grab mana. It just kind of helps to expand my mana reach. That's pretty much it for the main floor and upstairs. We do have one more floor up there. Let's keep our flight going. We have one floor up here, which consists of just a gateway and bed. And then our break glass in case of emergency. I don't actually remember what I put in here. Potions of health, lots of health, health boost, absorption, basically everything I had left over from my Gaia Guardian fight. That way I'd be able to run back to wherever I was. In case I got killed by something really powerful, I can just chug all those potions, eat the apple and stuff, and have at least a half-decent chance at getting my armor back. Yeah, it's very helpful. We have our gateway here, we'll go through that in a little bit, but first let's go down to our main automation floor. First up on the right here, we have our Britannia. This is... Where's our... Oh, because I moved you outside. I had to move that outside there because otherwise the Hopper Hawk here was picking stuff up before it was ready. Right here we've got just regular mana infusions, so there's no catalyst underneath there, just mana. Then we have our alchemy and conjuration catalysts. Those are hooked up downstairs. We'll go down and visit that. Whole mess of redstone. We actually didn't end up using any of these. This is for the alchemy section here. We only really needed two of them. One was for slime, and the other was for sand. And honestly, I actually already had another thing for sand with the blood magic, but this was considerably faster, so I used that one instead. I think I just set this for a lower amount, so it'd kick in for emergency use. But then these ones here, I never actually needed two additional ones. In fact, I don't really know what else I'd use for alchemy. And then I have regular mana infusions, my mana pearls, and all that. And over here, conjuration for glowstone, redstone, and quartz. What is over here? This is leaves. Okay. I've never filled that in. Should have gotten more corrosive stone over there. We also have our furnace stuff over here. This is same automation as the other side there. Just charcoal, potatoes, all that sort of stuff. Anything I need to cook, that just goes in there. Which then comes upstairs here. Which is apparently doing something. Why are you making noise? Oh, potatoes. Yeah, so it's just hooked up. Everything flows to up here to this hopper, gets distributed among the calefactors, and then once it's cooked, goes back to base. Down here we have one of our sad, lonely, one of our first automation things on this version, on this map, and that is the Terra Bozu. Probably mispronouncing something on there. We have our dropper, which is just when you say it's sad because it's raining, it powers the dropper, drops a sunflower on it, which we actually... Eventually, we ran out. We played for long enough that we went through the entire dropper. I think I had, two spaces that were empty, but went through that entire thing. So it rained that many times and stopped the rain that many times. That's kind of weird that we went through that much. Over here is our very basic crafting automation. This is just for single item crafting. For instance, we want chests. We're going to feed lots of wood into an open crate. This is just single items at a time. Very basic, but very handy. Our other main crafting automation is over here, which takes up a little bit more room, but is a kind of similar concept. We've got a crafty crate down at the bottom, and then we have just droppers filled with items. If I click on this side, so this has stone, this has more stone, this has more stone. I think this one's making repeaters down there. Yeah, making repeaters. So basically it will just, every 10 seconds that will click, which will then pulse here, which will then trigger all the droppers into the funnels down to the crafty crate. So then that goes downstairs, or down below there, we've got a hopper hawk or something that's picking up items and sending it back to base as well. There's a hole in the wall. Why is there a hole over here? That's weird. Let's get back up here. Yeah, it's a common theme. We just have lots of blood nodes sending items into the droppers everywhere, or into hoppers throughout the base, and then everything just goes on a different network to go back to base. So again, we can get our node router out. Everything's just linked up to the top there through Corporea. It's going through that chest, but pretty simple. I'm really happy with how compact I got this. If I were to do this again, I would probably do it without the redstone paste and be able to do it maybe just in a line instead of being a vertical tower, have it be a line that goes back for 9 blocks. I think that would be a little bit easier. I wouldn't have to use the redstone paste, I could use regular redstone, and I wouldn't have to use living wood funnels, which require, I think these need like a redstone root or something like that. Oh, a circuitry sapling, that's what it needed. So it's kind of a complicated thing to be able to get that. So I would probably change that, but still go with Corporea. And furthering along our automation wing here, we have our various crusher rituals. We've got corrosive in here and destructive in this one. This one gets me fortune 3, which is pretty good for I can just send diamond ore, and it'll go in here, get me a couple diamonds per. This one here I did use for ore processing for a while. I ended up switching that over to Thaumcraft, but for now this does still get me sand and gravel, but I don't really need a whole lot of gravel anymore. Cobblestone and obsidian on this side. Cobblestone we're actually maxing out what the crystal cube can tell us apparently. And then the obsidian on this side just goes into comparator, turns off the main ritual stone in there. And I've got a serenaded nether underneath there to get me lots of obsidian. Very handy, and if you need obsidian in any game, this is probably one of the quickest ways of getting it. Also have our will generation. I've slowly expanded this, just kind of off camera. Every so often I'd go down here. Anytime I found extra spawners, I'd just toss them down here. I think I've got a guardian spawner down here too. I think I wasn't able to get the drops from the guardians though, or maybe it needed water, but yeah, it was very useful because this is not only powering my base for will, but it also gets me all of my mob drops. So I've not needed to get more bones or anything. Gunpowder I've got tons of. In fact, I think I'm voiding almost all of that at this point. But yeah, so that holds all of that. And the last thing that we have over here is living wood and living rock. We can actually go inside for this one, I think. Shouldn't break anything. Let's turn off our magnet here. Yeah, so this is just a 1 minute counter. Actually, it might be a 2 minute. I think I made it be 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. So what happens is they drop the stone or the living rock, or the stone or the wood, sorry. That gets placed on the living wood planks here, and then every 2 minutes this will just break everything, whether it's turned or not. Honestly, I don't really care too much about if it is, if it's not turned into living rock yet, because I have, 11,000 stone, I think I said. So it's not like I'm running out of stone anytime soon. So that way, if it does break the stone, it'll just go back into my inventory. If it breaks the wood, it'll just go back to the inventory, get circulated back again, and it'll just keep going until it runs out. Or until it has enough, I should say. So that apparently just fired, just missed it. Oh well. Yeah, so that is, I think that's it for our main base automation in here. I never did automate Terra Steel. I just didn't need a whole lot of it. I think I made a Terra Truncator. I didn't ever need a Terra Shatterer because with the blood bound pickaxe, that ended up being more than I needed anyway. So I didn't really have a use for that. Maybe in the future I'll find out a use for maybe building with Terra Steel or something, just to make a point of automating that. But for now, I don't really need it. Let's turn on our flight and let's head outside. So after our main haul here, the next build that we really needed to do, and I really say need in this case, was blood magic. So we needed this because this pretty much powers the entire base. The will generation, that needs LP for that. All the rituals I have set up over there, that needs LP. I needed some ore for a while, so I needed LP for the ritual there. Basically, I needed a whole lot of LP for everything. I think I might be able to get close now. I actually ended up turning off the spawner here because it was just lagging me out. Anytime I come over here, I'd go down to like Okay, never mind. Nope. Still bad. Still bad. We're gonna go back here. Yeah, so we have lots of witches down there. If I hit F3, let's see, entity count 246. Yeah, we have a fair number of witches in there. So we're still sitting at 10 million LP. Oh, it went down a little bit. Oh, there we go. So that is definitely more LP than I need. We never ended up finishing building it properly because we don't have these in this version. The crystal stone, I think is what it's called here. We don't have that. So couldn't do anything with it. So it's just going to be sitting there as wood forever. I had added this top part fairly recently. It's what allowed me to get 246 witches down there. Basically, I had set my spawner up here, and then these rituals, or not rituals, sorry, these alchemy arrays would kind of just trick them into walking off the edge onto down to the bottom there, where they're within range of the ritual. And that would also pull them out of the range of the spawning area, so that it'll just continue spawning. I may have looked at an Enderman. Not sure how that worked. Yeah, so this was a very important build. Pretty much our entire base is powered by this one area, which means that it had to be chunk loaded at all times. Had a different couple of things I did for the witches. At first I just name tagged them, but they ended up despawning anyway. They would just stop healing themselves when they were out of range, so they'd still get hit, they were still being damaged, but because they were too far away, they never tried healing themselves. I guess that's kind of, what happened. I'm not entirely sure why they did that, but yeah, they kept dying off. So instead, I got a soul shard spawner and filled it up. Let's see. I think that's it for that one. Let's turn on air sigil. There we go. After that, we have... Let's see if I can land here. Probably not. Nope. Okay. This is our greenhouse. The tree... I don't like the tree. I don't want to talk about the tree. The tree I had started building about a year ago, and basically ended up... I got so tired of this tree that I pretty much stopped playing Minecraft for a few months and stopped recording and all that. I eventually kind of convinced myself I can put some on here when I feel like it, but I'm just going to ignore the tree, and then I can actually enjoy my world again. So yeah, big structure like this. It was a lot of fun designing it, but it just, at this point, it's just filling in the leaves, and it's just annoying and tedious. So instead, the fun part is everything that's going on down below. So if we jump down here, I don't remember which of these was the first build that I did in here. I think it may have been this one here, because I needed a lot of slime for stuff. So I made a cactus farm, because that's what you do if you need slime. I'm actually really proud of this build. It's a nice little design. I liked the kind of garden feel in here. I liked the little temple shrine thing. I don't know, I liked it. Basically, it just uses Corporea. Everything's hooked up through Corporea again. And what that would do is when it detected I was good on, I think it was, when I was good on cactus is what it did. So it would just trigger cactus. It would just care about cactus. When I was low on cactus, it would then push down these pistons. Those living rocks there are on a piston, so it will pop all of them down, which will then break the top row. So right now it's off, so they'll just keep growing back and it'll be fine. If I were to request a bunch of cactus or something, then it would then drop those down, break all of that, and anytime they'd grow, they'd break and get collected as well. One of my favorite builds, I think, just a very small little compact build. And that's also kind of one of the things I want to do more of in the next series, is I do want to do more of these small individual builds and give them a nice little, and I really mean little here, like not much more than this size, pretty much just one per automation thing. Every automation gets its own building. And then these big buildings. I might have a couple, I don't know. Over here, we have another thing that was very important to our base, because this is our other fuel source. Potatoes. Yep, potatoes. The current version of Botania here, it doesn't require the... Are these not grown? Oh, I can't right click. This current version does not require unique plants, or unique food, I should say, for the Gormorillus. So I can get away with just giving it just potatoes. In future versions, I know that was changed in, I think, 1.12. So you now need to feed it multiple things, which really just means you feed it 2 things over and over. But yes, I can't get away with this. But honestly, that's fine because it gives me more things to automate. Downstairs is just a control for a, let's see, these are Green Grove rituals, and I think I have a Green Thumb or Harvester, whatever it's called. If I look at you, will it tell me? Deactivated. Nope. Right click with you. I don't know. it's a Botania, or not Botania, it's a blood magic ritual. These elytra wings are kind of weird. That basically, it just harvests. That's all it does. This thing here, this flicker habitat, I believe is just speeding up growth. These guys speeded up growth even faster. I think these guys are doing a whole lot more than the Ars Magica flicker, but that's fine. But yeah, it just, once they grow, they pop off when it's activated, of course. And then it will continuously replant them. Apparently this was unloaded for a little bit or something. Not really sure how that worked. But it will just keep growing, break them, and once I have enough potatoes, it'll turn off. Then potatoes, of course, get cooked, get thrown to the Gormarillas, and everyone's happy. Walking around to the other side here, we have our tree farm. This thing was extremely useful, especially for that massive thing. I don't even know how much wood that used. It used a whole lot. In fact, the great thing is I didn't actually have to count it because it would just grow on its own. These here, oak saplings, they're sped up by 1 egg carnation, which of course does next to nothing, but really that's enough. Kinda. So this is in what I'm calling passive mode. It just has a single egg carnation fed by mana, and it just keeps chopping wood. So when I am low on wood, and I mean really low, it will kick on down below. So I have kind of 2 triggers. One is if I need any wood at all, which is set for like 16 stacks or something, it will keep allowing the saplings to be planted. Although apparently it'll just keep going if it picks that up. Why are you not picking up? Whatever. Yeah, so it'll just keep planting until I have enough, and then it will stop allowing the saplings to go from my inventory. But if I'm really low, then we come down here. This is a fun little build. This is our automatic plant bone mealer. That's the word. Yeah, so if we're really low, then that will kick on a rapid pulsing clock here. That is basically going to just constantly spam these guys with bone meal through the use of the red string nutrifiers. So these guys, if I get my wand of the forest, they are linked to the saplings up above there. Anytime it detects a sapling, it will rebind, and then once it gets a pulse, rather when the dispenser here gets a pulse, it will dispense bone meal onto the nutrifier, which is basically the same as directly bone mealing the tree. So that makes them grow extremely fast. I did watch this. It did have to kick in. That did have to kick on while I was building this. So probably went through 50 stacks or so of wood. Don't really know. Didn't really keep track. But yeah, it just kept going automatically. It's all chunk loaded, so I could just keep building, keep building, keep building. And I never had to worry about anything because I just had the wood going directly to my inventory. So it's nice to be able to just kind of give yourself a creative mode almost by you have your automation set up, you have it automatically going to your inventory, and you're just done. You just build, keep building. It was a lot of fun building this. In fact, I think I had more fun building this than I did building the tree. I think it was sometime around when I came back from that tree that I had added Thaumcraft. So we decided to add a new building here, and I only really partially finished this. I do feel bad about that because the thing is I didn't actually use enough Essentia to bother automating everything. That, and also I then have to figure out all the smelting stuff. In previous versions of Thaumcraft, there's the advanced alchemical furnace, which worked really well for doing massive amounts like this. But with the current version, there wasn't really a good way of smelting down massive amounts. So automating this just kind of felt unnecessary. That being said, I am still really happy with the way that this is designed. Go away. Go away. Still really happy with this design, and I will definitely do something similar in the future. Probably not through note blocks though. The way this works is comparator reads the level of the jar up above there, which will then go over here and basically use a redstone relay. If it's below 13, it will turn on the signal. Sorry, if it's above 13, it'll turn on the signal. I have a switch kicked in right now, which just turns off everything though, because otherwise, in fact, let's turn that off. So basically, it will just pulse about once a couple seconds, I think, because I've got 2 redstone repeaters and whatever delay is added in by that, and it will just keep clicking away. These ones click. I should have picked a different one to show this. That's not the right place. You are. So I'll turn that off. Which ones are you? This one. Here we go. Yeah, so it's a kind of a weird chord that plays here. I set it every 2. I didn't really tune it very well, but the idea is that it would keep hitting these, and then arcane ears would listen for the note blocks and then dispense whatever item it needed in order to craft that essentia. It's kind of a cool system. I really liked how this works. I just, like I said, I didn't really have a need for that much essentia. I'm hoping that the future version, because I'm on version I think 9 or 10 or something, it's currently up to like 24 I think, so there's a lot of changes that have come in with Thaumcraft, so I'll be definitely looking forward to that in the future. But for now I didn't really need the automation, so it just kind of sat here. Very sad. Yeah, I really like that. If we go downstairs here, we'll find our Thaumcraft Tower, which is floating in its own little personal void. This was a really fun build. Absolutely one of probably my favorites. Just out of it, it's unique. I mean, you look around and it's just like there's nothing. Yeah, that is until, of course, you come down here and realize that there's a whole lot of blood on the ground, and the blood really ruins the illusion. Turns out I'm really good at finding slime chunks, and slimes like falling off of things and dying, which then splatters them with blood thanks to Evilcraft. It ruined the illusion, but I was still really happy with how this turned out in general. It's just that was one thing I would definitely change. I think there's a couple mods out there now that have anti-slime things that will turn off the slime chunks, which would be very useful in this build. But yeah, it's just a tower. I've got some recharge pedestal. I used that I think a grand total of once until I was able to get the V crystal, which I've just kept on me at all times since then, or amulet V, sorry. Just a couple random things floating around. A sphere, because I figured spheres are magic-y since this is, of course, Minecraft. And down here is our main what is this, infusion altar. I keep blanking on names today. Yeah, so infusion mechanics have changed in future versions. I'm really looking forward to that. Right now, the mechanic is spam as many skulls as you can, as long as it's symmetric, of course. That's changed a lot, so I'm looking forward to working around the new mechanics there. And then up here we've got, this is our alchemy area. These are all hooked up through magic mirrors back to the alchemy up top there. And then last but not least, this is part of our automation for ore refining. Apparently I have a whole lot of experience here. This is empty. Good, so it's still working, hasn't broken. Brain in a jar is just collecting the experience from this. Hopper is collecting all of the various native clusters from our ore processing, or generation, I should say. This is the processing, generation's over there. I think that's pretty much it. This is our basic smeltery here, or it's a thaumium smeltery, but there's better things now. Essentia mirrors, okay, so part of why I didn't expand this whole system is because these things are extremely finicky. They kept losing connection. If I throw something in there, in fact, there's probably, do I have goggles on me? I do. Okay, so there's nothing in there right now. But basically, between the Essentia mirrors, the transfusers, the jars upstairs, it would not have a good connection. It would keep losing. It would just drop out, and it's like, oh, I'm full of Vidium, or I'm full of air essence, and you were hoping to get whatever other aspect it was. And so that's why I never bothered hooking up the automation, because this would get backed up for the stupidest reason, and then I wouldn't get whatever essence I actually needed, and it would just keep getting more and more backed up, because it would fill up with, say, air when, or it'd fill up, say, with Lux when I wanted Potentia. But yeah, so I needed to design a new system. I'll probably go with the buffer chain. It's kind of a classic system that works. I'll probably go with that in the future, but for now, I think we're good just with that. And then I have armor stand here with our, can I shift right click? Oh, I can. Didn't used to be able to. So yeah, so I can switch over to my thaumaturge stuff, which is good because that will then drop out the cost, and I can craft whatever. So let's switch back. There we go. Have everything, boots and leggings. Boots. Living boots, living leggings, living, yeah. Can I light you? Yeah, okay. So, handy system here. Like I said, the refining and Essentia refining stuff down there, I never really got it to work happily. It would just keep dropping out, and then it'd get backed up, and that's the main reason why I didn't automate this, because I didn't feel like fighting it to be able to get this system to work. I like the system, but that system down there didn't work. I had to keep moving these, the Essentia mirrors. I'd move them one closer, one further away. I ended up just kind of just doing it, not manually, but I'd manually throw items down below to be smelted and then check it, make sure it's smelting. Okay, we're good. Is the next one working? Okay, and that one's good. It is just very tedious. So I would definitely redesign that. And next up we have Astral Sorcery. So I have a couple builds up here that I'm really happy with. I like this building. This is a good size of building. Like it's not so big that it's just annoying to work on. Like the main base down there, I like it, but it's huge. So this one here, I can just have one nice little architecture style, and it all plays nice together, and it's happy. So this is the highest tier that we can get in the current version. Future versions are obviously you can get I think one tier higher than this. So there's a lot more you can do with Astral Sorcery in the next version, so I'll definitely be looking at that. Over here we have our altar, which is another of my favorite builds. There's several builds here that I really like. Just the automation on this. So right now we've got what? Avitas? Well, I want Dissidia. Just click the button, we wait a little bit, swaps to a blank altar, and then should swap to the next Dissidia. There we go. Yeah, just the ease of this, how nicely it works, how clean. That's the main thing I liked about this build, is that it's very clean. I can just hit the button and I get exactly what I want. Now I've got down below here, do I have a hole anywhere to jump in? Here we go. Down below here we have lots of teleposers. These guys are linked down to a giant array of these downstairs, way underground, and you hit the button, it triggers some stuff, which what is this? Corporea. I've got blood magic in here as well for moving everything around. It's just a lot of systems playing together, and it works. I really like it. Can I pick you up? Thank you. There you go. This here is a very important automation. In fact, it's so important that I never bothered moving it. And also I believe future versions would make this even better. Right now it does take a little bit for it to turn the pumpkin into cake, but if we watch here, it should change soonish. Just change that one, so this one should be coming up soon. Pumpkins are just grown. I've got growth lenses that are powering the pumpkin stems, which then grow a pumpkin almost instantly. Once that grows, then it will sit here being soaking in starlight, turns into a cake, and then disappears. Teleposers, one of the most useful things ever. You can use them in a lot of automation stuff. This one here basically just teleports them downstairs to get us lots of mana. Very broken. Completely throws Botania mana generation out the window because this just overpowers everything. This isn't actually hooked up to our main base mana generation just because I never needed to. We're fine with just the 3 Gormarillas down there. This is strictly for ore generation. In fact, it's apparently not even eating enough because it left a cake over. Let me eat you. Go away. Yeah, it grows back almost instantly. So that teleports downstairs, gets us lots of mana. Let's see, what else do I have up here? I've got a ritual here. I think I ended up just kind of taking it apart. For now, I've just kind of been manually converting our crystals into bigger crystals. Stupid Elytra. There we go. One thing with this pack is I don't have a way of automating much of this. I don't have a way of getting liquid starlight from a tank here into the world. I would need maybe a mechanical user, or for some reason dispensers can't automatically bucket this. I mean, they can bucket the liquid, that's fine, but I can't do much. If I take you, shift click. If I take this, put it in there, the bucket is quite happy, the dispenser is happy taking it, but I can't get it from a tank to the world, which really limits my ability to automate this because there's a lot of things that need it to be in the world, and without being able to do that, I can't really automate it. So that's kind of an annoying thing. I believe future versions have that change where you can do that. Either that or there'll just be a different model I'll have. Over here is a very broken thing. This is our aquamarine generator. We currently have almost 4 stacks of aquamarine in here. I don't need that much. Let's break that. Yeah, and it's going so fast. There we go. Now it's actually showing. It's very overpowered, very useful. Apparently that's going to stay, which is awesome. I'm hoping that future versions will let you actually do something with all of that though, because are you full? No, where's my, I think this chest over here. So this guy here is just filling up with aquamarine. But yeah, I really like this area up here. It's a nice, clean one architecture style. I'm really happy with it. Next up is one of the later additions to my base, a dead pig. Bye-bye. Yeah, right down here is our the style I'm going with on this one is kind of an archaeological dig. So I wasn't really sure how to actually decorate the outside, unfortunately. I like the scaffolding, but I didn't really know what to do about all the dirt. I tried doing like some bracing along there, but I wasn't really happy with how most of that turned out. But I was really happy with this door. I believe this is open, this is closed, so let's punch you. Still working? Should still work. It seems a lot slower than it used to be. I'm not sure if that's just if my delays got changed or something, but yeah, I really like this door. It's completely unnecessary. Most of the time I just left it open all the way, but I was really happy with it. One thing is you can't stand too close, because if you're within the 5x5 area, then you will get teleported as well, which will send you down here. It was a fun little project just to... I like setting up these animation things with the teleposers. It's a really unique idea, I think. I was thinking maybe doing something with chiseled and bits for this as well, but I just decided just to go with regular blocks, but still have it an animated door. Next up we have our entry hall. It's kind of run down, broken. I never did do the ceiling. I meant to do the ceiling. Oops. Yeah, so down here is our ore refining and generation. We have a couple golems who are currently working. Where's your buddy? There should be... Oh, he's hiding. Okay. Yeah, two golems. One with the job of simply retrieving ore from the gold chest there and bringing it over there. The other guy will then pick up anything that is along there and send it where it's supposed to go. So for instance, that native cluster, that will go to a gold chest back there. And he's set to just pick up anything within the whole range there. In fact, do I have a wand on me or casting gauntlet? Did you go in here? Casting gauntlet, here we go. So if I equip this, then I think I'm able to actually see things. Maybe it's a Golemancer's bell. I can never remember what it is that I need. Do I have a bell here? I do not. Probably in my tools chest. Let's just grab this so we can actually see what's going on. Open. There we go. Golemancer's bell. There we go. So let's equip this guy here, and we should be able to see... Yeah, so right there that is saying, hey, collect items from here. I did have this originally just picking up items from the world, but it ended up kind of lagging, and he would only pick up a single item at a time. Whereas if it goes in here, then it'll kind of just build up a backlog. For instance, it's going to be breaking 3 things at once here. So when I get, say 3 iron ore, then the 3 will stack up. Instead of 1 will appear, then he'll grab it, another 1 will appear, but he'll be halfway up there again. This way, it just all goes straight into the chest, and he can carry it all at once. So right now, it goes into these guys, which should all have... There's things I thought had... Oh. Right, need this open. These are saying, hey, whatever you pick up, put it in here. So this one is set for silver ore. The little X means that there is no limit, so it'll just keep stocking up silver ore into here, which is exactly what I want, because it will just kind of fill up. Otherwise, it'll only do a single item, and then he'll just be holding it forever, and then items will despawn, and yeah. So, really happy with this. The one thing I would change about this would be this part didn't work. I was hoping that when it's processing, you would see the essentia flowing through the air into the transfuser, but you don't. I'm not sure if that's because I have the liquid on top of the jar, but I mean, the concept is there. I just wish it actually would animate how I wanted it to. Other than that, I do really like the architecture style throughout here. I was really happy with that. Again, I didn't do a ceiling. I probably should have, even just something solid. But if we go down here, we can see how everything gets processed. Here's our cake coming in from upstairs, and we have processing over here. This is getting, I believe it's taking stone, and I think I have this set for diamond chisels. So diamond chisels are going in, filling up with stone to get chiseled stone blocks, or chiseled stone bricks rather, to get ordo. We're then simply voiding the Terra, which might be a bad thing in future versions, I'm not entirely sure, probably. We're just voiding lots of stuff, and then the ordo goes here. This side a little bit easier, we're just putting iron in, iron gets melted down, and we're good. I had been originally separating out the iron to try to get the metallum to get my ordo out of that, but that's actually not a net positive, and I just ran out of all my iron, so not really working. But this is now working really nicely. I have 2 Kekimuras here. I would probably expand this if I were to do it more, just because right now it's actually not generating that much mana. I mean, it's generating enough. I don't really need to worry about it too much. these boots aren't letting me jump up. There we go. I'm used to having the automatic walk up. So yeah, it's getting lots of ore, but it could be a little bit faster. Right now it does put a pause on the pistons that are pushing the stone out, pretty much just until it has enough ore, or enough mana. So yep, there's an orchid down there, just turning all this in. I really like the idea of it just being a giant pit full of ores that we're just kind of slowly harvesting. I really like that idea. It just seemed like a cool design. Ooh, good, I can make that. Let's see, what else do we have next? Well, I think the last major thing that we've actually built is way over here. It's not technically part of the base. In fact, I don't think I have any real link between these two. We're gonna go way over here. Hopefully I can load it in time before I don't crash into the water. Let's see. Here's our lighting, so we should be getting close. So let's go down here. And we have our, I don't really give it a name. It's a mob area. So let's turn on flight 'cause it's a little bit easier to get around here. We've got, and surprisingly, nothing's flooded. That's always good. We have mob spawning. So let's see. We've got, down here is where all this building material is coming from. We have 2 of these guys, which are just killing guardians. These are filling up this. I have lots of prismarine now. This one I don't think I even have hooked up. Lots of prismarine shards, tons of fish. And then all that fish into for sink. Logged out since last time I did that. Over here, down below, sorry, is where we are getting all the mana. So we have all of our fish is being cooked up and sent down here, which is one at a time, feeding these. These are then being routed over to here for the lunium, which I think I actually have turned off right now. Yeah, because I turned that off because I couldn't actually process all the stuff that was coming out of it. I was getting too much loot, which is a good thing. So that's going to kill them down here in the purple sludge here. That goes down below into a diamond chest, which is probably full of things. Yeah, not too much actually. So apparently I do have my sorting system worked out decently well. I've got a squid up there, whatever. This floor here goes then to the storage area, which I really liked the architecture style here as well. I always wanted to do an underwater build. Just, I don't know, I really like the look of it, just being able to look out and see everything. Lighting on the ocean floor is definitely a must for that, because otherwise it's just black. But we have all of our storage here. Right now it's pretty much just everything, like fish are going here. There's lots of different types of fish that we'll get from the guardians. Bones, arrows, lots of those. Lots of golden apples, surprisingly. And then prismarine, raw parts for prismarine, which I haven't processed yet. I didn't put any auto crafting in here. The only automation I have set up actually is cooking, which I thought we had more than one. I think we just had the one aspect, or the one Ethereum, I think is the word that they're using. So fish come from over there, the Guardian Farm. They get teleported into this thing, which drops them down. The cart picks them up and distributes them among the calefactors, which is a little bit easier way of doing it than the hopper system I had set up at the other base. But then you have to worry about an entity moving back and forth, and you can see it's kind of pausing every few seconds. I think that's an Optifine problem. I'm not entirely sure, but definitely new version should fix that. I'm also going to be doing some computer upgrades, so that should hopefully reduce that as well. Let's see, what else did I do in here? I like the style of this base as well, just the whole, we're underwater, but there's nothing actually holding the water back. It's just held up by rituals. I kind of like we're in a magic world, we should be doing everything with magic. Who needs actual walls? Yeah, really like that style, and it's kind of cool looking base, just a bunch of bubbles underwater. And then, last but not least, this little teleporter to get us back home. So let's go here, and where is the star? I think newer versions might make this a little bit easier to work with. For instance, right here, I can see the 2 of them, but from when I was over at that base, I can only see the 1. And also the animation was very slow. Okay, I think it's just because we're back at the base, and the base is very slow. But we are back up here with Astral Sorcery. Well, we unfortunately find ourselves at the end of our base tour. I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who has been watching me. It's been a great time this past year or so, just making videos. I have to say that my recording schedule has gotten kind of weird lately, but I do intend to make more videos. Like I said, I'm really enjoying making these, getting to show off my work, getting to show off the various designs, automation attempts, and failures. But yeah, thank you so much just for watching and for sticking with us, especially with the kind of hectic recording schedule and posting schedule. Like I said, I will be continuing. I will be doing a new world in a new pack with hopefully new challenges. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to be doing kind of a theme based off of the old video game Arcanum of Steamworks and Magica Obscura, which is basically high fantasy magic meets steampunk. So I'm going to be adding in immersive engineering. I have a couple other mods I'm going to be looking at. Probably some sort of nutrition mod. Right now, like I said, I'm just eating pork chops, and I'd like to actually have to make a challenge here. So I'm going to have some automation with that I'll need to set up. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this, and I will look forward to seeing you guys in the next series. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.